Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm Gianna and today we're going to be doing a Beetlejuice inspired makeup look, and I've been getting some requests in person for it, so here it is. For this look, I used the It's My Pleasure Cloud 9 and All Amethyst palette from ColourPop, the Naked Urban Decay Metal Mania palette, and the Abby Roberts X Morphe palette. I used 2 dense fluffy brushes, 2 larger, longer fluffy brushes, 1 extremely dense fluffy brush, an angled brush, and a very fine compact brush. Other products you'll need is some masking tape, a lash curler, brow pencil, setting spray, eyelashes and lash glue, an eyeshadow primer, and any other things that you'll use for your base makeup. Alright, I already have most of my base down. First I'm going to go in with an eye primer. I'm using the Mary Kay one just because, you know, it's such a vibrant colors, at least with the ones that I'm using, and I really want to make sure that they don't get dulled out. Alright, I know it looks weird, but I like to just put some tape just so that way the angles are somewhat close when I'm already doing it. Just to help keep it nice and clean. Alright, with our biggest fluffy brush that we have, we're going to take Trigonal, I think, this shade from the All Amethyst ColourPop palette, and we're going to pack that in on top of the crease and just buff it all the way up to our eyebrow. Try and get it like in here as well. And then just try and build that pigment up, getting lighter as it goes out. Next, we're going to take the It's My Pleasure palette, also from ColourPop. Take shade Fan Fiction right at the bottom, and pretty much do the same thing, just go right over top. And you can go a little bit in on the outer corners of your eye, just to sort of blend it all out and in, and then also keep going up just to build that vibrancy. Now we're going to take a slightly denser brush and go in with Bare Minimum, also from the My Pleasure palette, and just lightly pat it closer to where the actual crease is, and then lightly tap out. Because it's a shimmer, it should pick up some of it. Now, again, with that same brush from the Naked Metal Mania, yes, Metal Mania, we're gonna take the only purple shade in here, Power Chords, and sort of do the same thing, but we're going to do it just above that. And just, sometimes I like to use my finger just to get more of the shimmer in, but just pack it in there. And then I'm going to use my finger for using the shade Sunbird on the Amethyst palette, and just gonna tap that all up on my brow bone, mostly. The camera's not picking it up very well, but it looks very holographic, and just a little bit of something to catch your eye, to catch the light when you're turning your head. And then on top of that, we're going to take High Grace, do the same thing, but just mostly keep it just on the brow bone to highlight a bit. Ooh, I'm gonna have to blend that out. And now, lastly, from the Amethyst palette, you can take either Crystal Crazy or Royal Affair, whichever one you want. Just deepen up in the crease as much as you want. I'm going to try and add as much depth as I can. And in case there are any mistakes where it's just not blending how I want to, I'm going to take Kitten Fish and just use my finger and swipe to make the blend a little bit simpler. And now we're going to take the ColourPop Cloud 9 palette. Going to use Make Do right here. And again, just kind of pat that on all over. It's going to give almost like a more galaxy effect because it's such a like bluish pink, blue and pink shimmer. It's time to cut the crease, probably my least favorite part. I just got this wet with some water and we're just gonna swipe away on top of the lid to get as much of the purple off and then stop about halfway on the eye. Right, now that I've gotten off as much as I could, I'm going to take a small dense brush and the NYX Total Control Pro foundation. I'm just going to take a little bit off the dropper, just paint it on, and then look all the way up so that way I know where it transfers, and then just fill it in and try to make a blend a bit softer. And then you can use whatever excess is left on the brush to clean up any edges that would have gotten too much on your nose that you didn't want. I'm just gonna take a little piece of tissue paper and dab it just to make sure that there isn't too much excess that'll, I guess, fall into the creases of my eye. And now in the Morphe and Abby Roberts Artistry palette, I'm just taking the shade Ramen or whatever shade's closest to your skin tone and setting it almost like you would, like just with, like you would with the setting powder. I'm just gonna, just to make sure that it stays and it doesn't settle too much into the creases on my eye. Also, with the last step, if you have a darker skin tone, it could be, obviously I don't have a darker skin tone, but from what I think, if you just put like a white base, it should be more vibrant on the eye and make it pop more. I think, don't quote me on that. Now for the fun part, we are going to take the light green in shade Tinkers. Just gonna really like pack it on a denser brush, not similar to the one that we used for the purple, but not the same one, and really pack it on. Something I noticed with this palette, or just with Morphe in general, is their the pigments, they're good, they're not the best, but they are quite buildable with a brush. So this could take a little bit of time, and you might want to get a smaller fine detail brush to get up closer to the line, just so that way it doesn't look muddy and murky, the little transition part. Alright, so I have hooded eyes, so I'm not going to be as careful with all the murkiness, but now we're going to take shade Dino right next to it, the dark green, and blend that into the purple almost, and give it just a bit more depth. And it will be murky at first, but once we put a bit more purple on, that should go away. You mostly want to focus on blending it into the green part. And now I'm going to go in with Ultraviolet on the Abby Roberts palette, again with that same dense purple brush, and just try and merge together the green and the purple as best we can. Back in with this fluffy brush and just try and make sure it's a nice smooth blend. It doesn't have to be clean, but I mean, it can be. I'd prefer not to, just because it has some of the lighter palettes or lighter colors from other palettes on it, just to help get a smoother blend. All right, I believe I forgot to show this brush in the beginning, but just a nice flat rounded brush. We're gonna take Descendant. It's It's Urban Decay, honest mistake. But we're gonna take Descendant, the really sparkly gold one, and focus that on the inner corner and build it up just to make the green seem a bit more vibrant. Just a little bit. We don't want to go too far. You don't want to pass the tip of your iris right there, because we start blending into the dark green right around the center of your pupil. So just to try and keep a nice balance of everything. All right, now we're gonna go back in with the bright green in Tinkers and just clean it up so that way it really pops and stands out against all the darker colors. And when you're blending them all together again, you're gonna want to blend the gold in with this, just so that way you know that there's just a hint of it, and just to keep it subtle and not overpower the green, because personally I think the green is kind of the most important part. Now for my favorite part, I'm just gonna peel off the tape and take Q-tips and water or makeup remover and just snatch and clean up the edges a bit. Take an even smaller and denser brush and go in with Fan Fiction and just buff that out under the waterline. And then if you want to sort of ease the transition, you can take Kitten Fish from the same palette to buff it out and try not to make it droopy like I just did. And we can also take Do or Dough and pat that in closer to the waterline, and then blend that out. You can also, if you feel like the colors aren't matching enough for you, you can take that and use that as a bit of a transition color, or even just like take your finger and place it a bit higher, just so that way they're matching a bit. Then we're gonna take a thin flat angle brush in Spike Stud, and this formula is a little tricky to get on the brush at first sometimes, but you get a nice metallic look after, so it takes a couple tries. Okay, because all the lines are cleaned up and I have them how I want them, I'm gonna go in with eyeliner. I don't have a working eyeliner pen with me, so I'm just going to use the Abby Roberts water activated colorful eyeliner. I'm just spraying it with a bit of water and taking a fine brush. With this consistency, you have to it dries out really quickly on the actual palette, but once you get it, just have a nice sharp wing. That is probably the best I've done in one go ever, so that means the other eye's gonna suck and take forever. It took me so long to do my eyeliner that my phone died, so I did it and just filled in my brows while I was waiting. Next I'm going to take just any gel pencil eyeliner and just get right on the lash line and make sure that it's just a little bit darkened to really make the eyes pop. Now I'm just going to take some black lash glue and apply these lashes that I got from the dollar store. I literally have no clue what they are. Alright, so I have lashes on and a bit of mascara. I'm going to go in with some nose contour just a bit. I'm going to do the traditional button nose, I think, or like pinch nose. I'm gonna do an inverted triangle here, more defined bridge here, and then like that's pretty much like on the tip of my nose, adding more of a shadow to make my nose a bit smaller, and then taking the long end of this brush in that powder to, I guess, shade the rest of my nose. And then I'm gonna take that and just, because it's Beetlejuice, I'm not going to use bronzer, just to keep tones cool, and just contour the rest of my cheekbones, and then right here on my temple just a little bit, and I'll check back in a sec. Alright, so I'm just placing some blush. It's the new Kosas Baked Blush in shade Euphoria. I should have a video, a shorts already up of my review of this. Long story short, kind of loving it. Just gonna keep it nice and up high on my cheekbones, avoiding the apples of my cheek when I directly have the product on. Then I can go back in and keep it blended, get a little bit on my nose, a little bit on my temples without messing up the eyeshadow. And then a trick that I learned to, get even more of a snatch look is to go at the bottom of your face, or at the bottom of your nose, and just draw a light straight line to sort of make sure that the blush is up there. And then I'm gonna take my concealer brush and just blend it down mostly. We're gonna try and not blend it up too much, just so that way it's a nice and soft blend. And then we're gonna go back in with contour, because I'm supposed to do this before contour, I forgot, just so that way there isn't like a stripe as much. With the Cloud 9 ColourPop palette, we're going to take Pure Bliss for cheek highlight, and if you really pat and blend it in, it takes a little bit, but it gets like a really natural finish. So you just rubbing it around in the line of fire, I guess. Then it gets a nice, I don't know what else to call it at this point, reflect. And then we're going to take droplets, the white one, and use my pinky for this to just do that. And then down here, take the side of my finger to blend it out, and then just blend that down. And I have a different nose. You can also do your Cupid's bow or some more up above your eyebrow, but that's just what I prefer to do. I'm also going to add a bit of the Make Do there as well, just so that way they all kind of match a little bit. And for your lip, you're going to want something not very bold. I'm going with just a slightly darker color. It's L'Oreal shade 8:35. It's pretty subtle, but still enough that it's there. And then we're gonna take So Cosmic, no, not So Cosmic, Make Do. There's a similar shade called So Cosmic in another palette. Then we're just going to pat that right on the inside of the lip. So that way it's a little bit lighter, but it's still all cohesive. This one has this lipstick has pretty mauve-y tones, so it sort of matches, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit more blush and then we should be good to go. So we are all done. Here's the eye up close, and I'm really happy with this. This is pretty much how I did it for all the times that I went to see Beetlejuice. Yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know if you recreate it and post it, please tag me. I'd love to see them.